Well, somebody appears to be quite happy at the moment. Well, I wouldn't say that. If you mean happy as in walking by faith, not by sight, then I couldn't agree with you more then. I mean, after all, being that because I still have to find another place of residence, of apartment for myself before I am kicked to the curb from my present place of residence, be in this atmosphere or whatever I've said. After a proverbial neighbor from damn hell being among the dime a dozen public nuisances of problem neighbors had done a number upon me, and do excuse, pardon, or forgive me if I am butchering the English language and American dialect once again. I never claimed to have become or be an English major, neither or nor an English professor. But then getting back to some or such other, as I think of it with that in my mind's intention, to try to backtrack here with no purpose to being, or so I can go on to following to continue from where and when that my person had last left off, so I can finish up as a complete a former previous prior line. I thought it made sense to word. You know? Yeah, whereas this one proverbial name from damn hell chapter being among the dime a dozen public nuisance problem neighbors had managed to pull the wool over the management's eyes, well, in particular, this one real estate management personnel representative, whereas he himself had that person confused me with being of a troublemaker that he himself is. And whereas from there, you know, they had much rather instead had given me the walking papers of a paperwork document, of an eviction notice that he himself should have received. You know, after I had reported him a number of times to the management of the building as well as to the police about how he would continue to violate his apartment rental lease, and at the same time, all the while, however said, disrespect my rights and privileges as his fellow neighbor of another resident or tenant. You know, yeah. But then, I have to take the bitter with the sweet. Like you said, when you have lemons, make lemonade. Hopefully, I will still do all of my part, and hopefully others will cooperate with me so far as any that I'm talking about any future prospective landlords. Before the deadline when I'm to be bounced out of here or kicked to the curb with with or without my personal effects, belongings or possessions, rather. Let me say correction. You know, and hopefully likewise before I were to become homeless. Been there, done that. Don't want to do it again anytime too soon enough again. God forbid. And whereas the last time I was homeless was it would usually take no more than about a couple few months for me to get another place of residence of a unit's atmosphere apartment to call my own to resume paying monthly rent, utilities, and home phone service fee bills. Well, that all depends on whether or not the utilities is included in the rent, whereas otherwise I would have to pay that separately, you know, in addition to paying the home phone bill that is not included in the rent, you know. Yeah. And like I said, hopefully landlords will cooperate with me. Future there's future prospective landlords before I were to be kicked to the curb. Hopefully we could get things negotiated for a reasonable price tag according to my annual income. And likewise, before I would become of the statistical ratio percentiles or percentages of the derelict transients, as in to be translated to be defined as meaning of the homeless bums. I don't want to say cocksuckers because I'm trying to get back with that. The homeless bums, well, the majority or most, I believe, of whom are of the rank and file are homeless. I'm sure others would agree with me. Compared to still, there are others that would disagree or tend to differ. That the majority of most of the homeless are that way, being because they want to be that way. You know, and I have never been homeless by choice. And whereas if and when I were to be homeless, hopefully not anytime too soon. Yeah, hopefully that'd be a long time coming. That's why I said hopefully I find me another place of residence, a available apartment vacancy of an apartment where I can resume paying monthly as annual monthly rent, utilities, and home phone service fee bills at before I were to get, bounced out of this one, and kicked to the curb with or without my personal effects, belongings, or possessions, and before I were to become of the homeless. Whereas the last time I was homeless, it was twice the amount of time that I was homeless compared to how I would usually be homeless for no more than about a couple few months. Compared to the last time around, it was for half a year. And from there I really freaked out. I was beginning to think that I could possibly become or be homeless for years. Yeah, that was a painful feeling. I mean, it caused me mental anguish as well as physical trauma, you know, and it had me contemplate, a number of things from that possibly going back to that damn hell or living my life in the bottle, or worse yet, that is, what I mean to say, and in due regards to a company that of hand gestures. It had me contemplating that possibly going back to live my life in the bottle, is what I meant to say like this here, or worse yet, in the pipe, you know. And those 800-pound gorillas was on my back, you know, uh, not only suicide, but homicide, depending on if I were to have a bad day, a really bad day, you know, being homeless. Yeah. But then so much for that conversation. Not that this here, present social media broadcast or video is uh the content of that subject matter, but rather it's of something else altogether different. The only reason or purpose for my person having brought it up is, to just try to let you all know that I'm trying to take everything in stride, regardless of how that present life crisis is still hanging over me like a sword of Damascus. Being of a problem or dilemma or issue that has to be resolved soon enough. Because I only have so little time. Say so little time, not so much time, but so little time to find me another spot to call my own or whatever I've said. But then how are you all doing? Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay. Being not only my social media family of any subscribers, then likewise, we're all the same any visitors to that being my social media channel and as well as social media chat room or comment section. You know, if not better yet to be said, to be feeling all right, or if not best of all to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, too blessed, possibly calm or be stressed. You and yours, the family, friends, hopefully me and mine likewise. That is you all as well as me. Don't steal my trademark this here. You know what I'm saying? Then I guess you all can steal this other supposed so-called trademark of, yeah, the devil and the demon, they're really quite busy with the horns sticking out and fangs hanging out and the claw from the paws and there's spearhead tail and back and all. I'm trying to you know, get this here social media broadcast of video, you know, that much more in play, trying not to let anything distract me and disregard or ignore any interruptions that could happen because I still had this one proverbial Nate from hell Republicans, problem labels, still attempting to drive me, being that my person completely bonkers, whereas he has succeeded in doing some or such other. No, I don't mean seem like I'm contradicting myself, but I'm saying he has succeeded in driving me out of house and home with my person having gotten an eviction notice that he should have received. But anyway, though, I'm trying to, go about doing this here. Social media broadcast video, regardless of how I am more or less watching this one movie at the same time, as you could possibly hear in the background, as well as, music coming from some of such other electronic device of communication. But anyway, getting back to some of such other, yeah, I hope you all are doing at least okay, if not better yet to be said. All right, if not best of all to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed. More blessed and stressed, or too blessed to possibly come or be stressed. You and yours, your family, friends, hoping me and mine, likewise, as well, all the same, or as I was saying. And now that I've gotten the preliminaries, as basic intro, as an introduction out the way, then let me get to speaking upon a subject matter. Well, regardless of whether I were to speak upon one or a couple, few, or four more for that matter. You know, in other words, that being something along the lines I was saying, since we're, you know, a topic of discussion to be debated, or a given argument with many different views and opinions to be affiliated or associated with and representing thereof, you know, or be able to speak upon one or a couple, few, or four or more for that matter. It all depends on how I feel as a president one time. But then today's subject matter, topic of discussion to be debated, or given an argument with many different views and opinions to be affiliated, associated with, and representing thereof, is in due regard in reference to how, the president elect of the USA has passed a bill into law, being the Emmett lynching, what you might call amendment or proposal that was put on the floor of the House of Representatives and the Congress. And wait a minute, whereas it could have been vetoed, but he passed it. I don't know. However that process goes, it could be passed in the House of Representatives and the Senate, or it could be passed by the president. If the House of Representatives and Senate veto it, then he could bring it back into play, bring it up for a proposal again, then pass it. I don't know how that works out, but he can pass it as well as the House of Representatives and the Senate, and he did. He had done just that. And I'm wondering why former ex-president, you know, old carrot top president, you know, that is twice impeached, but yet twice twice acquitted. President Donald J. Trump didn't do that, or hadn't thought to do. Some such are the same compared, to Sleepy Joe, A.K.A. Slow Joe, President-elect Joe Biden had got it on the books, and that's not going to help him, you know, Donald Trump in the 2024 election, seeing how he slept that one big time. And unless he were to go about, you know, apologizing publicly in due regard in reference to the family members of, as well as the four young males, well, they were young back then, now they're pretty much so old, four black males who were falsely accused of having sexually assaulted or raping a white girl as a Caucasian woman in the city of the Big Apple, New York, being the sister city to, you know, the windy city of Chicago, Illinois, USA. Whereas they was acquitted of every and all charges for what had happened in Central Park, but yet former ex-president Donald J. Trump still wants to mislabel them as rapists. And unless he apologized to not only the family members of those four black males, but also to them likewise, as well as I was saying, then his chances of retaking the White House in the political calendar year of 2024 is even slimmer, you know, if he don't do that. as well as he could also consider denouncing the invisible empire, the KKK, regardless of whether or not his parents were literally actually card carrying members to that white supremacist or white racist redneck organization. Rather is what I meant to say to rephrase that. Because nobody's better than anybody. I don't want to. I don't want to give them any kind of false sense that they are, you know, superior to other races of people. Being of those kind of what you call brain dead, brainless, bonehead, butthead, dinosaur, turd, male characters from the Stone Age era of the Dark Ages to the some prehistoric existence before the civil rights revolutionary movement day and age. Yeah. And whereas former ex-president Donald J. Trump had refused to denounce them when he had the chance to do so years ago, you know, and unless he do that as well, then he would have a slimmer chance of retaking the White House in the political calendar year of 2024. Whereas it just get me to wondering, hey, Donald Trump, what's up with you, man? Dude, guy, fella, full for all races of people's persons. The German word full only means leader. You know, it don't necessarily have to be, associated with that being of a despot or a dictator, like, that Mr. Charlie Chaplin mustache wearing guy or fella back then who had attempted with his goon squad of blue meanie apes to attempt to conquer the world and throw humanity even further into the Stone Age era, the Dark Ages, you know. But fortunately, he didn't get his wish. He failed in his attempt to do just that. Anyway, getting back to the fool for all races of people's persons being twice impeached, but then yet twice acquitted, former ex-president Donald J. Trump. So unless he get on the bandwagon and start to romance the thought of trying to sympathize and empathize with a race of people who have always been, how should I put it, harassed, intimidated, or persecuted, or have had civil and human rights violation offenses orchestrated, initiated, and perpetrated against a black race of people's persons or black Hebrew Israelites, whereas blacks are a couple few of the most persecuted races of peoples in the world. One of the others is the white Jewish. You know, Being of whom I consider as my brothers and sisters. I don't know about anybody else. I mean, I don't care if they are just white Europeans faking it, pretending to be Jews. I mean, if they have become Jewish or taking on the ways of the real Jews, being a blacks or black Hebrew Israelites, then I don't know about anybody else, but I'm one of those person that would consider them as brothers and sisters of ours, compared to how some of such others would tend to differ, you know. Akila Habakila, and no offense is meant to be directed at any of my, you know, Arab and Palestinian brothers and sisters when I say that, being because they are brothers and sisters in their own right to us, like, like they are supposed to be compared to, you know, Hebrews, Jews, and Jewish are supposed to be Jacob. They are supposed to be Esau. You know, Esau was the brother of Jacob, or Isaac was the brother. They supposed to be Isaac was the brother of Jacob. I meant to say something like that. Well, I think you all get the general idea of what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And for President Donald J. Trump, for one who had moved our U.S. embassy to Jerusalem, yet he still refuses to, you know, be that much more catering to the black vote by, you know, not having apologized for how he had mislabeled the four black males of being rapists, you know, and as well as he never denounced the invisible empire, the KKK, when he had the chance to when he was in the White House, you know. So he's going to have a hard way to go in a 2024 political election, you know, and just get me to wondering. Hey, Donald Trump, what up, dude, guy fella? What's up with you, man? You call Sleepy Joe, you know, the president elect, you know, Joe Biden. You say he's sleeping and he's slow. Then what it caused you to sleep or be slow about, you know, passing the Emmett anti-lynching bill into law like he had done or did, you know. Hey, Donald Trump, are you drinking or something? Are you like, you know, I'm saying, living a damn hell in the bottle or worse yet, living a damn hell in the pipe or what, you know? I'm in recovery myself, you know. So Donald Trump, what's up with you, man? You sure you're not closet Klan, closet Nazi, closet neo-Nazi? What's up? What's up, home team, homie? Homie, hey, homie, Donald Trump, homie, what's up, man? Joe Biden is putting you to sleep, man. Where he coming out with that ace up his sleeve, you know, making you fold like a deck of cards, man. Coming up 7-11 on gambling, you know, his political future for a second bid at the White House, you know, regardless of how he had made the United States of America become subjected to experiencing another failed Vietnam conflict in that third world country of Afghanistan by pulling our U.S. military troops out of there. And whereas, as a result of those developments, an Islamic-moslem-terrorist-organization had took control of it, but with he himself having passed that Emmett lynching bill into law, that's going to make him look mighty good in a 2024 political election. And unless you do what I say, former ex twice acquitted, former ex twice impeached, but yet twice acquitted President Donald Trump by apologizing to not only the family member, but likewise to the four black males who were falsely accused of raping a white girl as a Caucasian woman in Central Park in the city of the Big Apple, then your chances that retaking the White House is really, really slim. And that pillow guy friend of yours, he ain't gonna be helping much, you know, you know, keep putting it out there that there's conspiracy theory about how the election was stolen from Carrot Top being you yourself, you know, if you don't have any proof, the proof is in the pudding, you know. I mean, he just talking loud and ain't saying nothing, not much of anything, okay? It ain't going nowhere. You know, it's his conspiracy theory analysis of the last political election. Then, yet, you know, just as President-elect Joe Biden is smelling like a rose, but then you are still kind of smelling like a rose yourself. Former ex-president Donald Trump, because so far you have escaped any, every, and all conspiracy theories otherwise that you are directly responsible for the January 6th insurrection attempt to overthrow the U.S. government. Not to mention how some would label you as a gooser, gooser, a freak of a male, of a non-gay guy or a fellow dude that would run his hand up between the legs of a woman to grope their fur balls. But then, like former ex BC otherwise. Oh, Bill Cosby was a former ex president of the USA. No, you know who I'm talking about, Bill Clinton. I mean, he escaped an even worse. No, no, I'm not talking about the Monica Lewinsky incident, but some of such other ways he was accused many times of snatching panties, but it never has seen the light of day of a courtroom. Whether or not he did, well, that's all history. It's like President Ted. I mean, not President. Did I say President Ted Kennedy? I mean, Senator politician Ted Kennedy's chapter critic. I'm sorry, I was getting him confused with his brother for a minute there. Both his brothers, the late President JFK and the late Attorney General, being of his brother RFK, who had also made a bid for the White House during his time for a political campaign. But then, what happened to both of them as well as what happened to, you know, AL. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln, as well as John F. Kennedy, and then, um, you know, Governor, Mayor McKinley of Chicago during President Franklin Delano FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt FDR presidential years. Anyway, Joe, I just thought to mention this here. That's what was on my mind. After I had you know, watched this one. Oh, got a hairball. Oh, my chest. Yeah, after I watched this one news segment tonight, and I was just saying, huh, that would be quite a social media broadcast or video in the making for me to consider, contemplating that, producing, composing, whatever I said. And so I had done or did just that, because it was interesting. And no offense is meant to be directed at the family members or relative cousins of the late Mr. Emmett Till. I mean, because it's not like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I sympathize and empathize with them. I'm not trying to look at it so much as from a callous political point of view, but I'm just saying, I mean, if President Donald Trump wants to really make America great again, then he gotta start to be more sympathetic and empathetic toward more than quite a few races of people's person. I mean, after all, President-elect Joe Biden is not any better than former ex-president Donald Trump. And the reason why I say that is because he had let the Afghanistanian people down when he pulled our U.S. military troops out of that third world country, and then whereas that same, in other words, nation was taken over by Islamic-moslem-terrorists, but then he made up for it. You would think by having passed the Emmett anti-lynching bill into law, you know, and so he scored one on former ex twice impeached, but then yet twice acquitted President Donald Trump by doing so. So therefore, not that I'm wagging the dog or anything, wagging the dog, that's like they say, in other words, changing the subject. To wrap this up, yeah, in order to make America great again, more politicians have got to prove themselves to be more for all Americans, not just a certain race of people, of Americans. I mean, the storming of the White House Capitol, that January 6th insurrection attempt should have never happened. But then, neither should a former first lady that was married to a former, neither should a former ex first lady that was married to a former ex president of the U.S.A. should have been able to use a government server of a computer and then transfer information from it to her own personal server or computer, uh, emails being of which look suspicious of hundreds of thousands of some such, and look as if she is herself anti-American, and working with the commies and or socialists, not communists and not communists and socialists, or or communists, communists and socialists, or communists and Nazis for another kind of coup d'etat or insurrection attempt to overthrow the U.S. government. You know, there's so much for that. But I just thought I should mention this. Other getting back to that now, not to stray from the original subject matter topic of discussion of a given argument. But, I'm glad to hear that the immaterial anti-lynching bill has been passed into law. You know, so it should serve as a deterrent to any what you call hate mongers, racist rednecks. Discourage them from wanting to attempt to lynch a non-white person, because now they can get some like from 20 to 30 years from there for that if they are found guilty, if the charge is much more, not just more, but much more than just mere circumstantial evidence. Whereas from there, they could be up Crap Creek without a paddle in a boat with a hole in it. You know what I'm saying? A one-way trip to JAIL, to the big house, to the pokey, baby. Yeah, that's one good thing that President JB, I'm not talking about Governor JB, but JB had done compared to former ex President DT has slept that one. But then I'm gonna wrap this up by saying, as I would usually go about, you know, giving the introduction for any of my social media broadcasts or videos. Then I will speak upon a subject matter, topic discussion, or that of a given argument, be debated with many different views and opinions be associated with representing thereof. You know, or be able to speak upon just one or a couple, few, or four more for that matter. And last but not least, I will give the conclusion by saying in more words or less. But hopefully most of my social media broadcast videos were like so, as I would say from there. If you haven't gotten Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, I will hope that you would think to do so now, while the blood is still running warm in your veins, by recognizing and realizing what He Himself had done, for that a sum of such a given on time, by having given His life upon the cross of Calvary on the hill of Golgotha, suffering at the hands of some such Roman soldiers up on the orders of their superiors, be they militarist, political, religious, or otherwise, etc. But then, nevertheless, where He went to that cross of Calvary, regardless, as He was crucified by Roman soldiers doing that the what you call it for, that is, and they were commanded to, or ordered to do just that, doing what they were ordered to, as they were, you know, up under the orders of centurions, Caesars, Pharisees and Sadducees, etc. But then, nevertheless, he went to that cross of Calvary to become the perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice for you as well as for me. So that if anybody's being of whatsoever race and whatever walks of life, faction, society, lifestyle preferences, being of the old, young, like both two sexual genders, males and females, represent not only the human species but the global community within the post 911 era of our new millennium apocalyptic day and age, whereas the doomsday clock is now at a couple few minutes of midnight, compared on our foreign period prior to it, with according to midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times, were to profess some of such faith in Him, being whosoever or whatever race, whatever walk life, or whichever gender, or old, young, life. Where from there we become be blessed one regard another. More with one. First and foremost, with the salvation, being of which is only means which we can or could possibly become citizens of the kingdom of heaven. And second of all, with His deliverance. But if you don't accept Him as your personal Lord and Savior before you leave this world, then your final destination will be the lake of fire, damn hell, to be tortured and terrorized by the devil and the demon with the rest of the unsaved, lost down human souls or unbelievers. A non-believers, compared to we being as believers will be across that great divide that separates heaven from hell. In the company of like-minded believers in the presence of God and His angels. All right, you all take care and be safe, be blessed, not stressed. Until we meet again, then it's a wrap. We out. Peace.